You guys want to know what the captain, Aaron Judge, is saying about one of the Yankees' top prospects who's really making some noise this spring training. I'm going to bring in our Yankees beat writer for the Post, Greg Joyce, to talk about George Lombard Jr. and another prospect who's on his A game as well, Will Warren. Greg, what's going on, man? You guys got an off day down there. How you feeling?
Yeah, off day for the Yankees, no off days for the Post. So, but feeling good, feeling good. About halfway, more than halfway through spring training at this point. So, see the light at the end of the tunnel there.
All right, I'll make this quick so you can enjoy your off day. Let's talk about the Yankees' number two prospect, George Lombard Jr., 19 years old, and he's really making a name for himself within the organization. He hit a 106 mile per hour single off Zach Wheeler on Tuesday. Our colleague Dan Martin spoke with Aaron Judge about Lombard, and you did as well. What's the captain saying about the youngin', and what have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, it's been impressive. He's the youngest guy in this camp, 19 years old. Not all that far removed from getting drafted out of high school, really. But he's certainly looked the part so far this spring. The other day he hit a long home run high off the scoreboard at Steinbrenner Field, and then uh, yesterday against the Phillies just continued to hit against real MLB pitching. So, like you said, Judge talked to our colleague Dan Martin yesterday. Said he sees Lombard going to be something special. I talked to Judge a few days before that, and he said a similar thing about watching him on the backfield next to Anthony Volpe. Lombard was he's a natural shortstop, but they've been moving him around this spring just to get him some reps at different positions as he did a little bit in the minors. So they had him at third base, and Judge said he was just kind of watching it. Jazz was at second base, Ben Rice at first, and he said he just kind of looked apart, just fit right in, looked pretty smooth. So yeah, Judge has raved about him a couple times so far this spring. The thing that stands out, like you talk to a lot of people around the Yankees, is just the defense is legit. We've seen the bat here lately, but just the makeup is off the charts as well. He's a guy that grew up in major league clubhouses. His dad, George Lombard Sr., was a player and then a coach with the Dodgers, and now with the Tigers, he's a bench coach. So he's a guy that you can tell has been around major league clubhouses. Kind of looks comfortable and plays like it too. So he's still got some development to do in the minors, but yeah, it's been an exciting spring for people in the organization that are high on this kid.
Man, when I hear a story about a 19-year-old making some noise in an MLB spring training, as soon as I get done with work today, I got to go home to my 2-year-old. We got some work to do for sure. Another young guy who's kind of, or prospect who's making some noise, Will Warren, with Luis Hill out for at least 6 weeks. You think that the Yankees are just going to give that spot to Marcus Stroman in the rotation, or do you think that they could be looking to trade Stroman and give Will Warren a chance since he's really looked sharp this spring as well?
Yeah, it looks like at this point it's going to go to Stroman, the veteran who had a great first half last year before kind of tailing off, and um, but Warren is now the next line of insurance, and he's certainly done nothing to diminish that this spring. The caution there is he had a pretty strong spring last year too, and then almost won the fifth starter job that eventually went to Louis Hill. And then Warren kind of struggled at AAA, still got called up and kind of had some rough outings, his first six outings in the big leagues last year, but he kind of has a look of a little bit different pitcher this spring, just kind of a different confidence. And I think part of that is using that experience to his advantage. He said he's learned a lot from the failures he had, the downtimes he had in the big leagues last year. He tweaked his changeup a little bit. He's working on bringing back his curveball they threw earlier in his career, trying to be more decisive about when to throw certain pitches, and try to have some more weapons there to attack left-handed hitters who hit him especially hard when he was in the big leagues last year. So, Aaron Boone said yesterday he's always been a confident kid. He kind of reminded him of Clark Schmidt a couple years ago when Schmidt came up and was getting rocked around a little bit. The confidence never wavered, but Warren looks, he looks pretty sharp so far this spring. I think it's 1 run in 8 innings. Yesterday was facing pretty close to the Phillies opening day lineup and gave up just one solo home run in 3 innings on a curveball, trying to sneak it by a guy 0-0 first pitch. So like I think at this point to maximize their starting pitching depth. I think Warren probably starts the year at AAA, unless they have another injury to the rotation. But I think he's giving them some confidence right now with how he's looked so far this spring.
Greg, you've been down at spring training the last couple of weeks. You've been around this team almost every day. I guess as Aaron Boone continues to kind of put this roster together, what's your biggest question mark or question marks surrounding this team that they really need to get answered 22 days away from opening day?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that stands out is who's going to play third base. Obviously, it was a competition coming into spring with DJ LeMahieu, Oswaldo Cabrera, and Oswald Peraza. LeMahieu only got two at bats before he got injured, and looks like he's going to be on the IL to start the year with a calf strain. So it looks like at this point that Cabrera would be the front runner. But you can't rule out also them making a trade later in camp. We've seen it, almost every year the last couple of years, whether it's the last week of camp heading into opening day or a couple days after opening day, they make a move. Somebody gets cut loose from another camp, or other teams are trying to trim rosters and players become available. So can't rule that out. But at this point, Cabrera would seem to be the front runner just because he's had that experience and has shown he can hit at least a little bit more consistently than Peraza has. Both are pretty good defenders there at third. The Yankees are comfortable with that. It's just a matter of what they can get with the bat. And I think the other question is just how Jason Dominguez continues to look in left field. He's kind of going through a crash course there this spring. His first couple games had some mishaps in the sunny skies, wind, losing the ball in the sun. There hasn't been any of those recently in the last couple games. Hit his first home run yesterday, so we'll see how. I mean, the Yankees are giving him every opportunity to earn that spot, but they have said it's going to be something he has to earn. So we'll see how he handles that. But I think those two positions are kind of the biggest things to watch. And then obviously just do we get some kind of read on how long Giancarlo Stanton's going to be out with his elbow injuries? We already know he's going to be start the season on the IL, but still remains to be seen when he picks up the bat and starts swinging. So perhaps we'll get that answered here in the next few weeks.
All right, the hardest working beat writer in baseball, Greg Joyce. Enjoy your day off, my man.